And welcome to our October edition of Sports Highlights, our program since February of 1992. We are on the road from Huntington Park. Our show airs on Mondays at 7 a.m., 2 p.m., 7 p.m., weekends at 9 a.m. on Cox Cable 47, 517, Tell Your Friends, and all over social media and YouTube. I'm here today talking pickleball with Kristen Proskin. Good to see you.
Nice to see you too, Greg.
How did you get involved in pickleball?
My mom was super involved, and she lives in New Jersey, and that's where I'm from originally. So she kind of got me into it. I took a lesson locally, and then I was obsessed from there. It's so much fun.
It's amazing how much it's grown here since COVID.
Yes, it is very, very, very big here. It's insane. Everyone plays. I feel like it's a very easy game to pick up with not too much lessons before.
And you don't need a whole lot of equipment either.
No, just a paddle and a ball. That's all you need.
Well, very good. Make sure you elaborate and tell us as far as leagues and how people can go about playing.
So there are a lot of leagues. There's a Club Waka, which is a great adult league in the area, and they have beginner to intermediate advanced level play, which is great. Or we're in, if you join GroupMe, there's a GroupMe app, and you can join all the local pickleball courts through there, and then everyone will just post in there when they're showing up to the court, and then you know that when you go, there'll be people there to play with you.
I grew up playing tennis, playing competitive tennis. I was talking off camera about other racket sports like badminton, racquetball, ping pong have been around forever, but pickleball came out of nowhere. It's a lot more popular.
Yes, it's extremely popular. It is. I feel like more popular than tennis and every other racket sport. It's crazy how much it's grown.
And the demographics are young and old both.
Yes, absolutely. We play with all ages. Even as young as, I feel like we played with a 9-year-old before. Any age is welcome. It's so much fun.
We're talking pickleball. We're here at Huntington Park. This is our October edition of Sports Highlights, our monthly interview show. And you talk about that too. You know it's big in warm weather places like Florida.
Yes. It's very big in Florida. My husband and I go to Florida. My aunt lives there. We play. There's an outdoor area with 21 pickleball courts there based on level, beginner, intermediate, advanced, and it's so much fun there.
And of course the TV coverage too is really big. You see a lot of it on national TV.
Yes.
You see former professional tennis players playing, so people are really engaged.
Yes, absolutely. We watch it all the time on TV. The PPA, lots of great matches to watch on TVs.
Well, very good. When you talk about the future of the sport, it's only going to grow.
Yes, absolutely. I feel like that. It's getting bigger and bigger every day. Very
nice talking to Kristen Proskin, talking about pickleball right here in Newport News. Where are some of the other courts around the peninsula people can play at?
So this one is Huntington in Newport News, and then there's Bat Creek Park in Yorktown, and there's a couple indoor places as well. And there's also, they have pickleball in some community centers that are indoors on gym courts. But yeah, for the most part, there's just, I would say, 2 outdoor courts that we go to the most, Bat Creek and Huntington Park.
And we're in the fall now, but what about when it gets cold in the winter?
When it gets cold, there are a couple indoor places that people can go to. And some older people play at the community centers a lot. But yeah, so.
Well, show us your racket.
Oh yeah, so this is a Selkirk. This is my racket. I love it.
And the ball is kind of like a wiffle ball?
Yeah, it's kind of like a wiffle ball, a little bit harder.
Yeah.
And it has a bunch of holes in it. And there's indoor and outdoor balls. So when I play outside, I use the outdoor ball. Or it depends on when you play in indoor courts. If they have this kind of court, you use an outdoor ball inside.
Very good. Talking pickleball right here on our October show, right here on Sports Highlights. So glad you're with us on the road. Singles or doubles? Talk about the benefit of either or.
I prefer doubles because singles is a lot more running around. Doubles, I play with my husband a lot, and you just get to know where you need to stand when you play with your partner. And I feel like doubles is so much fun. I love doubles.
Well, let's talk to the scoring. How does scoring work?
So when you first start serving, the first server is in the second server position, if that makes sense. So the first person that serves in the game is server number 2. And then from there, if you lose that point, then the other team gets the ball, and each person on that team will serve until they lose. And then it goes back to the other team. So it's a little confusing at first.
What kind of strategy do you use when you're playing singles, and what kind of strategy do you use when you're playing doubles in tennis? We always try to exploit the weakness of the player. What do you do in pickleball?
Well, usually we hit to the weaker player. The most important thing about pickleball is getting up to the kitchen line and making sure that you establish your dominance at the kitchen line. You don't want to stay back, because then they're going to slam it back on you and keep you back. You want to hit it and get up to the kitchen line as quickly as you can.
You have some room, but you don't have a whole lot of elbow room.
No.
The court's not that big.
Right, it's not that big, yeah. So you want to hit, sometimes it's good to just do a drop shot right over the net, that way you can run up as quickly as you can.
What advice would you give to young people that want to play?
I would say just come out and practice and ask people for advice.
Very good. And when you talk about it, really, it's just a matter of repetition, right?
Absolutely.
You have to keep going out and playing. And how do you practice? You can practice your serve too.
Yes, you can practice with a partner. Just do some drilling, practice your drop shot, practice your serve, and just play as much as you can. I feel like the more you play and watch other people play, that will help you become a better player.
What do you think about tournaments? And you got leagues. Leagues are always
Yeah.
popular from a social standpoint. What about competitive tournaments that people want to play in?
Competitive tournaments are great. They are so much fun. My husband and I have done a bunch. I've done a bunch with a couple friends, and those are always humbling. They show you maybe where you shouldn't be, or maybe you should go a little bit higher in your level. But those are always fun.
Are all the surfaces like this kind of like a hard tennis court for
Yes.
the most part?
Yes, they are.
Because tennis, they have clay and grass as well.
Right. There are some clay pickleball courts. I've never played on those, but they're mostly like this. This is what we prefer.
Very good. Do you prefer playing when the weather's nicer? Because you can bundle up, like you mentioned, in the winter.
Yeah, it is nice to play when it's not too hot. Like this weather right now is great because there's a little bit of a breeze. It's cooler. This would be great pickleball weather.
It would be nice. I guess the next step is to get high schools and more colleges involved as teams.
Yes, that would be great. I think my son's in high school, and it's becoming really popular among high schoolers, and they love it. We have a ton of high school kids that come play with us.
You had mentioned your mother got you involved too. Is it big in the tri-state area?
Oh, it's really big in New Jersey. Yes, there are a ton of indoor pickleball clubs there. And my mom plays outside all the time as well. She's a member of 2 different clubs.
All right, the do's and don'ts of pickleball. What are the do's? What are the don'ts?
Okay, I'm trying to think. The do's are, I feel like, having good sportsmanship, because you don't want to play with someone that's going to be negative at all, right? So obviously a don't would be, don't be negative, don't yell at your partner, be positive, because I feel like the more positive you are, the better your partner's going to play and the better player you will become also.
Very good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That was Kristen Proskin in our first segment of Sports Highlights on the Road in October. Stay tuned. We'll be back after these messages.
You're watching NNPS TV. Catch sports highlights on Mondays at 7, 2, and 7, and on Saturdays and Sundays at 9 a.m. Visit us online at nnpstv.com to view all your favorite episodes. NNPS TV, watching education happen.
And welcome to our second segment of Sports Highlights on the Road. We're talking pickleball here from Huntington Park. This is our October 2025 edition, fourth quarter of the year. Wayne Wagner, good to see you.
Good to see you. Good to be here. Thanks for having me, Greg.
Talk about your background in pickleball. How did you get involved in it?
My background in pickleball is pretty simple. I had a friend who introduced me, and I'll be honest with you, he told me about pickleball and I thought it sounded silly. I had heard it was for old people and that sort of thing, but he took me out one day and he beat me silly, and that got me very interested in trying to take care of that and beat my friend Scott at pickleball. But I've been playing for about 2 years now. Yep, 2.5 years.
One thing I've noticed, the fundamentals are important and also footwork's important.
Absolutely, yeah. There's a ton of footwork involved. It's just like any sport that you need to go back and front and side to side. You need to do all that stuff. You need to be able to run around in a circle. If a ball gets lobbed over your head, you have to run back to go get the ball. There's all sorts of footwork and athleticism involved in pickleball.
Yeah, knowing your partner when you're playing doubles and the dimensions of the court is very important.
Absolutely. Knowing your partner, I say, is really key, because you can create plans, and then sometimes when you get going with your plan, plans fall apart. I want to do this sort of thing or this kind of shot, and you have to pay attention to what your partner's doing as well. So you have to watch each other, you have to communicate. I have hand signals with my partner, so we always kind of know what is going on.
Talking with Wayne Wagner, we're talking pickleball. And Wayne, one thing that's important too is we mentioned singles, doubles, is the serve or return of serve. Talk about the pros and cons for the serve as a good server, and then do you like the return of serve as well?
Yeah, hitting a good serve is definitely a key element. It is one of the easiest shots of the game, but it's also one of the more stress-inducing shots of the game because it's, you're getting started with all that. And typically when you're receiving a serve, you want to return that back as deep as you can. Kind of the goal with pickleball is to keep your opponents as far back to the baseline as you can. So if you can keep them pushing back there, there's more opportunity for you to be up at the kitchen line and then smash balls overhead and get the point and the glory,
Yeah, absolutely. And just when you talk about indoors and outdoors, there's some differences because outdoors it's all about the weather and the wind too.
Yeah, absolutely. Outdoor, on a day like today, the wind is not blowing very much. It's not too sunny, but I actually prefer playing when it's really hot outside. I love to get a good sweat going. There are indoor gymnasiums, and those are really hard to play on because you have the lines from all the other sports. But there's a great place called Hampton Roads Pickleball Club that has 8 courts. They've opened up recently, and you can go in there and play on an outdoor style court, but indoors, so the weather and the temperature is much more controlled when you're in that environment.
And I agree. I think the total baseline is that people prefer to play the sport outdoors.
Yeah, I would say that the vast majority of people are trying to come outside. Around here we gather around in groups and we have jokes, and our little group that plays here I affectionately call this place Pickleball Park. It's Huntington. But we'll have pizza nights on some Fridays, and people will hang out for hours and hours, and it's just been a ton of camaraderie. And I'll tell you, most of the people that I know in the area, most of my friends in the area came from pickleball and from playing out here at Huntington, so it's a good thing.
Yeah, I'm just impressed how fast it's grown. I mean, the last 5 years, it's really grown.
Yeah, absolutely. 2020 especially was a big deal for it when COVID hit and people were having to be socially distanced and all that. Some statistics that I heard said that pickleball picked up 1.2 million players in 2020 because it was an activity that people could come out and do and still, remain socially distanced while doing it. So it is growing rapidly. There's TV channels dedicated to pickleball now. On my Roku, there's always the pickleball channel that's ready for me to just press go on it. So it's definitely picking up. And one of the things about pickleball, it used to be kind of labeled as an older people's sort of thing, but it's definitely getting younger and younger by the day. We play with high school kids out here. A bunch of CNU kids come out here, and so the sport is really growing in leaps and bounds. But it's not just growing for one age group; it's growing for everybody, and that's really exciting.
Yeah, you mentioned how it's grown, but you can always learn, right? I mean, you
Absolutely.
mentioned Roku and YouTube and all these different outlets. You can watch and learn from others.
Absolutely. One of the things that's interesting about pickleball, like I used to golf, and so I could watch Tiger Woods or Bryson DeChambeau do their thing and then try to do it myself. There was no possible way that I was going to have the skills that they were going to have. But you can watch pickleball on TV, you can watch your friends play pickleball, and you can pick up the things that they're doing and actually enact them in a game that you're playing yourself. It is more accessible in that realm as well.
You talk about the other different sports. We mentioned DeChriston racquetball and table tennis and different sports like that. Amazing how this has grown, but I'm still impressed by how easy it is as far as the equipment's concerned.
Right.
And I was wondering sometimes, do people use racquetball rackets out here and racquetball balls, or is it strictly just what you got in your hands?
No, it's strictly just pickleballs. I've never seen anyone come out with a racket other than a pickleball paddle. And but you're talking about it, people getting into it, and it's really great. I think 2 things really about pickleball. I think it's the most inclusive sport in the world because any age, any race, any sexual orientation, any of that, those people can come and be involved. And I've played with all of those people out here. But also it's relatively inexpensive to get started in. You can get going for $40 or $50 with some stuff from Walmart, find out if you like it, and then obviously you can upgrade your equipment as you want to go. But it is extremely accessible as a sport, and you don't even have to be good to have fun. I think that's the other part about it. You can come out and laugh at yourself and do all the do all the things with your friends and stuff out here. And so it's a very accessible sport for any person and at any age.
We mentioned footwork, but hand-eye coordination is very important.
Hand-eye coordination is definitely important. As with any sport, you're going to want to be able to, react to the ball appropriately and do what needs to be done with the ball. I'll brag on myself. I have really fast hands. When we're up at the net and do that, everybody talks about how great I am at pickleball, which I think is, it's just kind of funny. But you definitely have to have fast hands and be able to react to the ball as it's coming towards you.
I've seen Andre Agassi play. Of course, they're going to have advantages because they're natural, talented tennis players, but it's amazing. We talked about it, how this has just grown. Now, how about the cost as far as playing out here? If somebody wants to just come out here and play singles or doubles.
Right, so here at Pickleball Park at Huntington, it's $0.00. So this is what I mean by it being accessible. You can get the paddles for relatively cheap, you can get the balls for relatively cheap, and you can play at a public place for $0. And so it's a lot of fun to be able to come out here and do that and not, if you don't like it, you haven't lost a whole lot if you're getting into the sport for the first time.
Right, because it's really a low investment,
Right.
But mental health, it's so important too for mental release as well.
Yeah, mental health is fantastic. For me, I'm an extrovert. I thrive on being around people. So to be able to come out here with my friends and play pickleball and laugh and joke around with them, it does me good in that sense. But also physically speaking, I've seen some statistics that have said pickleball as a racket sport can add up to 9 years to your life because of all of the physical activity and the awareness that you need to kind of just be alive and do the game. So
before you play, stretching is still important.
Oh, yeah, especially if you're 49 like me, you definitely have to do some stretching. A lot of people are getting into wearing different orthotics and that sort of stuff. I don't know, that might be an old man thing, but that would be my cross to bear, so to speak. But definitely stretching, and it's something that you'll see out here. So if you came out to play and you needed to stretch, just stretch, because you don't want to pull a hamstring or anything like that while you're getting ready to play pickleball.
Tennis shoes, shorts, t-shirt.
Yep, that's pretty much it. I wear ball shorts, and I have some sweat dripping shirts, that sort of thing. And but there's also there's pickleball specific shoes and pickleball specific insoles that people are wearing. And so as the sport is growing, all of the little ancillary things like that are coming along with it, which is really kind of cool to see happen.
Wayne, thank you for your time and your talent
Absolutely.
and enlightening us about this wonderful sport.
All right, thanks, Greg. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. Our October edition of Sports Highlights on the road from beautiful Huntington Park, a place I've grown up and played tennis as a kid, but we're talking the wonderful sport of pickleball today. So I want to thank our first two guests. Stay tuned for our next guest after this.
I've been rising up and advancing in my classes.
I've been rising up to be the best student athlete I can be.
I'm rising up as a leader in my school.
I'm rising up to prepare for my future career.
We are all rising up and preparing ourselves for success, thanks to our dedicated teachers and staff in Newport News Public Schools.
Rise up!
And welcome to our third segment of Sports Highlights on the Road, our October edition. Hope you enjoyed the nice pickleball session we had earlier on about that wonderful sport. We're switching gears. We're in the beautiful library, one of my favorite places of all schools at Menchville High School, talking to Maddie Leach. She's a senior basketball player. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
How many different sports have you played?
I have played a couple different ones growing up, but mostly my main two have been basketball and soccer as I've gotten through middle school and high school.
And you come from an athletic family. Your mom was a basketball player for the Tribe, and your dad, of course, was a professional football player.
Yeah, so I definitely get a lot from them, just learning about the process they've gone through, and they've been great helps. And my brother actually is a collegiate golfer at West Virginia. He's entering his sophomore year now, so we have a pretty athletic background.
Does that competition in the family sometimes help you on game day when you play basketball?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely want to do the best I can because obviously they've had great careers. So, I mean, yeah, it definitely is a little bit of a motivator in my sports career.
Do you ever get a chance to go to Hidewood Elementary on your own and just play basketball sometimes when you have no other person to play with?
Yeah, I used to have a hoop outside that I'd go play at, or just random courts, you know, just playing pickup with random people. I like to go to the rec centers and play against guys. Definitely helps develop my skill. But yeah, whenever I can just go play without a bunch of stressors, it's definitely nice.
Well, congratulations. You're going to be James Madison Duke. Talk about that.
Yes, thank you. I'm very excited. I mean, they've just been recruiting me really hard. They have a great program, great facilities, great coaches, awesome teammates. So I can't wait. They're a very winning program, and I'm definitely super excited to get started. I'm a little sad to be closing this chapter of my high school career, but I'm very excited to look forward to what's next.
And I'm sure the other girls from Menchville and Jamestown that you know have gone on to James Madison.
Yes, I know a lot of people there right now, athletes, non-athletes, so it'll definitely be a place that'll feel pretty familiar.
Well, let's talk about your experience at Jamestown. You played there 2 years. Talk about the competition compared to the Peninsula District.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely wasn't great competition in the Bay Rivers, but it was a great school overall. But transferring to Menchville, I've definitely gotten a lot better. As a player, just amazing coaching. Coach Webb's one of my favorite coaches I've ever had, if not my favorite. So he's very smart, and I've definitely got a lot better since I've been here at Menchville.
We're talking to Maddie Leach. She's a senior for the Menchville Monarchs, basketball player, of course, looking forward to the varsity season 25-26 right here. And you talk about Coach Webb. He's won a state championship before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a great coach. He's super smart. He knows what he's doing. He has a lot of experience, and he's just a very personable person, and we all look up to him, and we're all super happy to play for him.
Talk about the positions you play. You played a lot of different positions since you were a young girl.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I actually grew pretty early, so I was in the paint a little bit growing up, but mostly since I've gotten older, it's been a lot of guard. Combo guard is my main. I can play a little point, shooting guard. That's what I'm going to be playing up at James Madison is combo, so but yeah, mostly 1-2 is my main positions.
Do you like to shoot by yourself sometimes on your own? Because the season really gets going in December. You got to practice way before then.
Yes.
How do you sharpen your tools?
Yeah, I mean, I have a couple great trainers like Marquise Godwin, Diesel. They're all have been great for me. And growing up, I've had some other ones too. My mom was a great shooter at William & Mary, so she's helped me get to my shot to what it is now. And obviously Coach Webb has done a lot too. But yeah, I mean, definitely the preseason's all about training, getting stronger, smarter, a lot of decision-making processes and stuff like that. So this is definitely time to put in the work right now before season starts.
Do you and your mom ever play one-on-one?
We used to.
Yeah.
We don't really play anymore. I've kind of got a little stronger than her now, but yeah, we used to play a lot.
What advice would you give to 12 or 13-year-old girls watching you right now? I know that's a big deal for you to be a good role model.
Yeah, it's definitely an amazing opportunity to be able to be someone that people can look up to in my community here and in Williamsburg. But I'd say probably just hard work will get you so far, because talent only takes you so far. But hard work, you just keep building, keep stacking days, and getting better not only in like training aspects, but also mentally getting smarter, watching other people that are ahead of you, and just trying to learn as much as you can and get better every day.
We're talking to Maddie Leach. She is a senior at Menchville High School, talking varsity basketball. And the more you can process now and mentally prepare for not only this season but for next season, that know that your academic load next year is going to be tough, and of course playing basketball. Difference between playing at home here and playing on the road as far as demands on your time?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of time management. Obviously, with high school, we still have academics that we have to worry about, and make sure we're getting good grades there. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of time that's like been that you just got to build in, whether that's in class, like doing schoolwork there so we can focus after school mostly on strength training and basketball, and then for game days, main focus should be about the game and, getting mentally prepared for that.
We always talk about this on the air during games, whether we're doing football or another sport, so privileged as well. Your days start early. Let's talk about what your diet regimen is during a game, because you're not getting home sometimes till 9, 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah, so I definitely try to have a good breakfast in the morning. We actually have our strength coach and mental coach, Coach Ryan, Coach Sean. They're very big on nutrition and making sure we're fueled for our games because, we exert a lot, so we have to make sure we're replacing that with good energy. So just make sure we have good breakfast, lunch at school, and then we do a pre-game meal in the cafeteria before each game. All of our teammates have a different game, 1 or 2 games that they have to provide the meal for the team. So we make sure that we're fueling up right and then making sure we're hydrated before each game.
Do you try to lock in on game day, or is it tough, especially when you know you got a big exam or a test? How do you balance that?
Yeah, I just try to take one thing at a time. Obviously we're preparing for games days ahead of time at practice, but then also making sure we're getting home studying, being as prepared as I can be so I'm not stressed the day of exams or games. And then as soon as the exam's over, I try to get back to focusing on the game.
And Maddie's got an excellent GPA. Well, we're in the library. Talk about some of your favorite books and your favorite subjects.
Yeah, my favorite subject's probably English. It's always been my strong suit. I've had a great teacher at Jamestown. He's probably one of my favorite teachers, Mr. Lampert. I had him my freshman and sophomore year for multiple classes, and he's a great teacher. I fell in love with it. One of my favorite books when I was growing up was it was about the Berlin Wall. I can't think of the name, but that was the book that kind of got me into reading. And then, of course, just reading my Bible is definitely something I incorporate daily. But, a good book definitely is a good thing to do.
A good escape as well, right?
Uh-huh.
Talking to Maddie Leach right here. And what advice would you give as far as this year's team? If you were the coach, Coach Leach, let's put a coaching cap on. Talk about the advice you give to your teammates and people on the bench as well, because they got to support the team as well.
Yeah, I definitely think every person matters, whether they're contributing a lot of minutes or contributing on the sideline, on the bench, or practice. I definitely think that the more together we are as a team, the better it's going to take us, because we're all going to face ups and downs, hardships, but as much as together as we can be, I think that'll help us get to where we want to go and hopefully win a state championship at the end of the year.
And you have to stay in shape, right? Talk about your workout.
Yeah, we have our strength coach, Coach Sean. He definitely gets us right. We're there right now 4 times a week, training, lifting, conditioning, mobility, so we can, when the season comes, we can be ready to take those hits and also apply those hits. So, but yeah, we definitely have to be in a lot of shape. Basketball is a lot of lateral movements and sprints, so we definitely try to incorporate that in the preseason.
And you got to bring it on defense too. Is that easy, or what kind of defense do you like to play?
I prefer man-to-man. I actually love playing defense, which kind of surprises some people sometimes, but it's one of my favorite things about my game. But yeah, we have a ton of great players on this team, and so every day at practice we have to come locked in defensively because you don't want to get blown by to the basket in practice, let alone a game. So we definitely have to focus on that and make sure we're moving our feet, playing without the foul.
Very good. Maddie, all the best to you in your future.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Very good. Maddie Leach right there, a senior, class of 26 at Menchville High School. Great attitude on and off the court. She'll be going to James Madison, the same school colors.
Yes, purple and gold.
Yes, right there at James Madison in Harrisonburg, Virginia in the fall of 26. I want to thank all our wonderful guests today, from pickleball to Maddie Leach, and for our wonderful producer, Ray Price. I'm Greg Bicaveras. Thanks for watching our October show, and we'll talk to you soon.